no change in this country has ever happened merely by changing laws. And it was disappointing, quite frankly, to hear former Secretary Clinton use that language, because certainly an accurate view of history shows us that we are always in a dialectical relationship between changing culture or changing hearts and changing policy. And that if we don't do one, the other one doesn't happen, right? I also was really disappointed that she used what I thought was a fantastic opportunity to sit and really build with young Black activists who had come specifically to share their concerns with her, that she used that opportunity to almost shun them as opposed to
shun or lecture?
Both, to be honest, because there were some pointed questions that were being put forward to her. And one of those pointed questions was about her changing...
Didn't you want her to share her view and her view of things, too?
Well, let me be clear. One of the pointed questions that she was asked was about her changing stance on mass incarceration.
Right.
Now, I grew up in the era of mass incarceration when Black people in particular were being demonized and seen as a drain on government resources. And, former Secretary Clinton and her husband, former President Clinton, really moved this very robust agenda around criminalizing Black people. And they did that in a couple of different ways. One was by passing and championing this landmark 3 strikes legislation, which actually incarcerated more Black people than any other time in history, right? And they also did something that was overwhelming, which was to dismantle state supports for families to be able to thrive, or just at the very least survive, right? And they did that under this notion, right, that people were taking advantage of the system and that people are not redeemable. And now what we see on the campaign trail is that there's suddenly this new stance that says mass incarceration is a horrible thing, right? And the question that those activists posed to her of what changed your mind is not an out there question. It's really not. In fact, I thought it was brilliant.
And you thought she got defensive.
Well, she did get defensive, and she got dismissive, and she also didn't answer the question. And
you going to vote for her?
Well, no, I'm not. And mostly, have been impacted by that experience very much. I do believe that, dialogue is necessary.